Greetings. This message this morning is for those who have decided to grow. Listen, on my personal journey of growth, I've learned a couple of things. It's not always easy and it does not feel good, but it's going to be worth it in the end. So I choose every day when I get up to continue to grow. There's a quote that is surfacing the internet, and I kind of was taken back by it, but I also was motivated through the spirit by it as well. It says that growth is often mistaken for acting funny. And if all of us could be honest, it's the truth. If we're on the journey of growing, you'll notice that a lot of people will begin to say that you're acting funny. Why? Because you don't have as much time invested in them as you used to. You've now taken that time and you're investing it in yourself because you understand that there's something greater over your life and you need to accomplish that. This quote spoke volumes because it's a reality that we're living in today. So God began to speak to me and minister to me in the midst of me reading this quote. Listen, they're going to think what they want to think. They're going to say whatever they want to say. And at the end of the day, your goal should still be to grow. We have to understand that in the season of growth, you'll begin to feel a few pains. We have to understand that in the season of growth, it's going to take for us to remain focused. We are not going to become fruitful if we're not focused. So for those of you who have begun your journey of growth and you know you're in that uncomfortable state because you notice that God is starting to change some things. He's starting to allow people to reveal who they really are. And you know, you're just having a hard time. Trust God, because where God is taking you, everybody can't go. People grow in different directions, and this is a personal thing that I've learned on my journey. You know what? You have to appreciate the seasons that you've had with people and, you know, the good times that you had and the memories that it's giving you. But understand it's only two ways. You're either going to grow together or you're going to grow apart. A lot of people only say that you're acting funny because the time you've invested, the effort you put in, and the work that you're doing, they don't even imagine or they wouldn't even begin to do it because it requires a commitment or a sacrifice of themselves. So you continue to grow and understand that God has a plan for you. And everybody is not meant to go where you're going. And the problem why sometimes we become stagnant and we don't grow to our full capacity is because we're trying to pull everybody where God is taking us, and He's not taking them there with us. So understand this one thing. You can't get upset every time somebody has something to say towards your growth process. You have to remember that's a personal issue with themselves because they see that you're doing something that they want to do. All you can do is pray and encourage them to just want to be better, to want to do better. And it's not your job to get them there. The only thing you can do is encourage. They have to do the work for themselves. You can't get people to their destination. They have to do the work and allow God to work through them. So for those of you who are feeling uncomfortable right now, you're not liking the process of disconnection or the pull and the tug. Get used to it. That is a part of the growth process. And that's a part that I enjoy. You know, it didn't feel good, but I began to see the manifestation of God's blessings when I just continue to move forward. Some of you are struggling because people are saying certain things about you. Let them talk. The same words that they have spoken over you in this season, and I want you to catch this in your spirit, in this season, the same words they have spoken against you, the same words that they have set in the atmosphere to turn against you. God is taking those words right now and He has marinated them in the flavor of favor, and everything you touch, everything you do shall prosper. Guess what? The weapons are forming, but they can't prosper because you are covered by God. Remember one thing. The flavor of favor is something that is so good. You're going to be able to go back to them and tell them, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Guess what? He is. And the growth process, it is a great process. It may not feel good at all, But we have to have growing pains. We have to see result. Growth is always visible. You will know when people truly begin to grow, because guess what? Your mindset changes. Your conversation changes. The way you carry yourself changes. You don't go any and everywhere. You don't do any and everything. And you can't hang with any and everybody. And that is all a part of the process. So I want to encourage you, keep growing. And while they're following the crowd, you keep following the calling, because they're all going in the same direction. You continue to move forward in the direction that God wants you to go. Don't strive to be popular. Strive to be purposeful and understand that what God has for you is going to be for you. Don't strive to impress people when God begins to take you where he's calling you to be. Impact people. Use your story. Use your voice. Use the calling on your life. If it's one thing that I have gotten out of my growth process, it's that the oil is worth too much to be spilling, okay? The oil is worth too much to be spilling. My oil cost me too much. It cost me too many seasons of pain. It cost me too many seasons of hurt. You don't know the cost of a person's oil for you to feel some type of way of not receiving it. In the growth process, you have to understand you can't pour into cups that don't want to refill. Okay? You have to be surrounded by people, and that's what God is doing right now. He's surrounding you with people that are for your journey. He's putting people in place that are going to be for where you're about to go. The capacity of where God is taking you is too much for some people to handle. And God has to have the right people in your path. So trust the growth process. Continue to move forward. Continue to live for Christ. Continue to be different. Listen, I'm bold about Christ because I know where he's brought me from and I know where he's taken me to. I'm not concerned about what people have to say because I know what God told me. And I want you to get that in your spirit. When God tells you something, be obedient, because the growth process can become more painful if you don't listen to what God has to tell you. So today, trust the process. Let them think you acting funny. Keep growing. Growth is the process, and it's going to happen in all of our lives. Just be willing to understand that God has something greater, and it's up to you to get there. So continue to grow. Continue to allow God to take you to where he's going to have you, okay? Most of all, be a blessing to others. Continue to be positive. Continue to speak life into situation. Most of all, speak life into yourself. Have a blessed day, and I hope this message touches someone who's struggling on their growth process. When it's time to grow up, people grow apart or they grow together. It's all about the effort and the commitment. Have a blessed day.